Talk Live podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to another Games Talk Live podcast. Of course, Jay Fonzarelli here, along with Hargeet Chani. How's it going, Hargeet?
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, another week and a lot of fun news, especially on the Xbox side.
Yeah, there's quite a bit going
games.
on. Quite a bit going on. Well, first off, I beat Dragon Age Veilguard. So
What do you think?
a total of so I had 2 playthroughs going at once. Then I got tired. I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I just want to beat this game now. It got to the point where I didn't care about the characters really. So the companions and stuff like were really irritating. The dialogue was irritating to the point where I didn't care much for the story at all. And I just wanted to get it over with. And I think that's one thing you have to have with games is a balance. You have to, with a game like this, especially with a story-driven game, you have to have some of that story element to really make it the better game that it should be. And it just wasn't there for me. And at the end of the game, a lot of people liken it to, you know, the suicide run mission in Mass Effect 2 or whatever. And it's like, I could see some of the comparisons because of what can happen within the game, but the overall story, it still didn't hit for me. And even though it got better, the companions just made the whole thing just exhausting. So a lot of hours put into this game and for nothing really. At the end, I was like, okay, so combat was great. And that's really all I have to take away from it. But again, you have to have that balance though. You have to, in a story-driven narrative, you have to have that story as well. That element is very important, especially when the game is quite long. So, I mean, you know, there's that. So I don't know, man, like all in all, it wasn't really a Dragon Age game to me. It felt more Disney-esque, which I talked about last week a bit as I was playing through it. But at best, it's a 7. At best, 7 out of 10. That's really like, and I'm being generous, I think, because ultimately the dialogue was just bad on so many levels, Hargeet, so many levels.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've been playing Black Ops 6 a bit, and so the campaign's good so far.
Yeah,
And,
I enjoyed that campaign.
I also I picked up Lego Horizon because I wanted to support that on the platforms other than PlayStation. So I bought it on Switch and on PC, and I started it up on PC, and man, it is she talks a lot.
Which one are you playing?
This is Lego Horizon, right?
Oh,
so
the Lego. Wait a minute. So Lego Horizon, she talks a lot in that one too?
It's not.
But it's got to be.
I'm like, what is going on?
Well, this voice actress who plays in Lego Horizon is a different one, right? It's not the same.
I would assume so. I don't know. It just normally Lego games are a little bit less dialogue heavy. They're just more like just play the game and you get little cutscenes, right? And that's it, right? It kind of moves the story along. This, it's just constant chatter.
Well,
like what the hell is going on? But anyway,
that doesn't surprise
like
me because I mean the Horizon games are very wordy.
Yeah, but
very.
Like I was expecting a Lego game, and it's a very short game. Apparently, it's like 10 hours total to complete everything, and so it doesn't feel like a normal Lego game where you go in afterwards with like extra capabilities and stuff and finish each level right and get all the stuff. I don't think you do that. It's just you just play through the campaign. There's like not much there. So anyhow, I don't know how far I'm in, like whatever, but it doesn't feel as fun. It's like it's okay. I don't know. I like it's got like a 70 something meta, 72 or something like that.
Well, you
it's
liked the first
about right.
Horizon game, right? You liked Zero Dawn,
but
right?
this isn't Horizon Forbidden West. it's a Lego game.
Oh no, for sure. But I'm just saying you liked Zero Dawn.
Feel like a Lego,
right? You did like Zero Dawn.
I like Zero Dawn.
Did you play Forbidden West at all, by the way?
I have it. I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah.
Um, if you think the Lego game is wordy, oh, wait till you play Forbidden West, my friend. Wait till you play that. It's whew, lots of words, lots and lots of
Yeah.
words. And it's a story-driven game, so that sounds silly of me to say, but at the same time, it's just she talks too damn much about stuff like I
Yeah.
really don't care about. And I assume you're saying she does that in this game too, right?
Yeah, it's a little like just bantery. Like you're just running around and she just keeps talking and you're like, why don't you shut up? I just like, why are you even talking right now? I just want to play the game. It's like she's just talking to nobody. And you're like, okay. All
Yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
it's just like whatever. Anyhow, so I'm semi enjoying that game. Black Ops 6 is good. That one's pretty good.
No, I forgot to ask you, what are you playing Horizon on anyway? The Lego game.
It's on PC, so Steam. It's on
Okay,
Steam.
so you're playing it on Steam. All
So,
right. I didn't know if you were playing it on Switch
I have it on
or
Switch.
whatever.
I turned it on Switch, and I'm like, but I'm sure it's gonna look better on Steam. I have it there. I'm gonna play it on
100%.
Steam. So yeah, I kicked it off on Steam. Yeah, it has like a whole bunch of graphics options. I'm like, yep, ultra everything, please. And yeah, it's running nicely. But man, you still have to hear her talk.
You sound like me with freaking Tosh in Veilguard. Oh my God, that incessant freaking dialogue from that whatever. That thing that was in the game. Man, it was just terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. So that's the state of gaming. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully Black Ops will be good. I'll finish up this Lego game, whatever, and then I'll finish up Black Ops 6.
Nice,
but that story
nice.
is good. So
far. Other than that, I mean, like, outside of the realm of gaming, not to get too far off topic or anything, but we're finding out more and more aliens exist, people. They exist. Congress is talking about it again. Apparently they're in our oceans, and people are just like, you know what? Life goes on. We don't care. And I'm like, this is kind of serious stuff we're talking about here. But yeah, apparently they're out there, and they could be coming from our own oceans. Crazy. Nuts. Infinite Umbra. I heard what you said about Tosh in Veilguard. I disagree completely. He actually likes the character, and I'm just like, I don't see why. I don't see why. Mr. J said, speaking of aliens, I miss your other podcasts. Yeah, I do too, especially right now with all the stuff going on, considering what they're talking about and stuff in Congress and the potentials of that, of what's to come from that is pretty big. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much they would like to disclose. But getting back into the gaming stuff, we're going to be talking about our first topic here, Avowed. Okay, so apparently they dropped a new pre-order trailer this week. The game will be dropping in what looks to be a very busy February of 2025.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of games coming?
A lot of games are coming in February. And matter of fact, we've got games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Umbro wants to be on to talk about, to plead his case.
AC Shadows. And the hotly anticipated Monster Hunter Wilds.
All right. Oh, wow. That's going to be a big one.
Among a lot of other games coming out in February. There are a ton of games coming out in that month. And I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's so much there. Do you think that the Avowed could possibly be overshadowed by some of these games, especially something like Monster Hunter? I mean,
Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be big. That's going to be big. I don't know about AC Shadows. I don't know where that's going to land. There's plenty of controversy around it. It may not matter. But then again, Ubisoft's been having a string of fails. Avowed wins by just being in Game Pass. That's going to give it a market. Just download it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if Shadows will overshadow it. We'll see. I think Monster Hunter Wilds, that's probably going to be a big one. That'll definitely have a lot of players.
Oh no, Monster Hunter. I think that'll be the busiest game of February for sure. I think that's the one that a lot of people are going to be. Oh, let me get back to this. I was showing the trailer and forgot to get back to us. But yeah, Avowed. I mean, what do you think about? There's still people upset out there, by the way, about the look being bright and colorful, opposed to that dark and gritty look of the original announcement trailer they showed many moons ago. I myself am like over it
By the way,
already.
we're just showing a black screen.
We were, because I showed a trailer and I went back. I forgot to go back to us. Yeah, it's a different setup now. So I'm learning.
Look, I don't know what people expect. Why people expect everything to look like it's realistic, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. Like this is what Obsidian wants to be the game to be. Like, why does it need to be anything else? Like, just play the game. Like, enjoy it. It's good. It's Obsidian. I love it. Like, let's go.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm over that. The fact that it's Obsidian is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to the game. They do RPGs right. What do you call it? I almost said Far Cry. What am I thinking? What is it? Fallout New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game. And they happen to, be the ones to have made that one. And I'm looking forward to this. Still, regardless of the graphics and stuff. No, it doesn't look mind-blowing. It's not like one of these games that they've put a ton of money into, say, the graphics or anything. But it's still, I think, going to be a worthwhile game. It's probably going to be along the same lines as like, what's the outer limit, was it?
Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds. I almost said limits.
Yep.
Outer Worlds from them. Outer Worlds was great, but it wasn't a big like AAA game or anything. It was just a good, solid RPG. And that's all I'm really expecting from this.
Yeah.
And again,
I'd expect it to be like a 30, 40 hour or something along those lines.
Probably.
Right? That's good. That's good. It's good. Whatever.
And the most significant here to come out of all this, though, for Avowed and this announcement and stuff for the pre-order is what seems to be a new tactic from a lot of companies. Microsoft is no different. The whole 5 days early thing. That seems to be something they're doing. You buy the premium product and you'll get it 5 days early. So I think this is something for a lot of people that even have Game Pass to entice them to spend a little bit more and get that 5 days early. You don't have to pay the full price necessarily if you have Game Pass, but you get it 5 days early by paying that premium. And that is still, I've said it many times, and I'm sticking to this. I think it's a scummy tactic. I don't like it. I think it's gross because, in my opinion, this is basically the launch date. 5 days early is the actual launch date. Game Pass, if you're just getting the normal game in Game Pass, that is 5 days late, in my opinion. Okay? Because if you have the potential to spend a little bit more and get it 5 days early, that's the damn launch date, in my opinion. And I don't like this tactic because all it's doing is squeezing more money out of people. And it's working and for a lot of games here. And I think it sucks. It sucks, but it's happening.
I mean, there are alternatives where we close studios, where we, don't get games. So if if there are people with FOMO that need to spend the money, fine. I'm not going to. I'll just wait. It doesn't matter to me. It's fine. I'll wait.
And I think most people will. Yeah.
And if you have FOMO and you want to get it early, go for it. They usually give you other stuff too, right? There's usually other things that you can, either they bundle in maybe extra content or something like that, right? So it usually has some other benefits. If that's of value to you, you go for it, right? And in some cases it is, some cases it's not. So I'm surprised with Indie, the collector's edition, what they're giving you is so meh. Like if they had something that was actually enticing, I'd have picked it up because it's indie, right? It's Indiana Jones, and I've grown up watching those, and if it was a cool collectible, I don't want a globe. No reason to have a globe. I don't know why they're doing that, but because
You're
it's a
like,
globe, I just don't care.
what am I going to do with a globe? I'm a
Yeah,
flat
like, what do I
earther,
do with
right?
that?
You know, no, I'm not a flat earther. Do not clip that. I'm definitely not a flat earther. Don't believe in that whatsoever.
But yeah, so like I don't really feel enticed to get it, right? So if they had done a better collectible there, that might have enticed me to do it as well. But so, and I don't know if that gives you early access or not, probably not, but whatever, right? But then I'd buy it anyway. But yeah, it just depends on what they bundle in, right? So sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. It's up to you. But thankfully it's a choice, and I get you on like the release date is technically earlier, but whatever. I'm just looking at the industry and saying, okay, well, how many publishers are having issues? How many layoffs do we see? And if this is a way that they can stave off some layoffs, okay, fair enough, right? Yes, yeah, you're right. They're squeezing money out of you, 100%. But that's what everybody's doing. You know, like putting games on PlayStation. Why is Xbox doing that? To get more money so they don't have to close studios. Like, go for it. I would rather that than like see somebody close down, right? I think that's a better answer. So whatever. Why is Lego Horizon on Switch, right? Let's just to make money, which by the way is not selling.
Infinite, by the way, I sent you an invite just now. Hopefully you get that. Yeah. And then you can just hop in and talk, give us your piece on that situation. But yeah, no, I just think it's a pretty, like, just a scummy practice that, it's not just an Xbox thing. It's something that a lot of the industry is doing now. And it's a simple way to just squeeze an extra $20, $30 from people per game. And this is exactly what they wanted to do to begin with. They want to raise those prices on games on us, but they're doing it in a sneaky, underhanded way without even knowing. Like, a lot of people don't realize it.
But it's optional, which is fine, right? Because like if it was just outright, you have to pay $100. It's like,
True.
I'd rather they do the opposite and say it's $60 because I think they'd sell more copies, and then just say, hey, we have a whole bunch of benefits if you want to spend more. Here's a $20 option that gives you more stuff, and it comes out early for you, or something like that. I think that would have been a better way to go instead of doing the $70. It definitely cut volumes on sales to go $70. People did get like, well, I don't know, I'll wait for a sale. So it's not helping them. It is what it is. So I think this is a better way. Look, there are people with FOMO, and there are people who just want to spend money. Go for it. I have no problem with that. And then for the majority, it's like if it's $60, $50, that's a good range to get a game, right? Or Game Pass subscription, whichever one, Ubisoft Plus or EA Play Pro or something like that. That's fine, right?
Yeah, if you're into those, go ahead.
Yeah.
Just set it and forget it, and spend the $20 a month. Even if you're not playing any games in those subscription services. I'm just saying overall, just like any of them.
It's under 10 for me per month. So
you end up doing that, and they want you to forget about those subscription services, like some people do with their video subscription services and stuff, and you just hold on to it.
I haven't watched. The first time I turned on Netflix, I wasn't even signed in. Right, the first time I turned it on was to try to watch the Jake Paul Tyson.
Oh, I know. I turned it on last night.
I haven't watched Netflix in years.
Yeah, bro, and you're just paying that for years. Like, it's just.
But the thing is, like, in the family, they end up watching it here and there, so it's like, fine, I'll leave it on.
That's why I have
it's
it.
the same
with
like Hulu. I haven't watched that literally in years. I haven't touched that in years.
Dude, you don't know
the one I've watched is HBO, which is free for me.
I want to get rid of Hulu so bad because I want nothing to do. I have no interest in anything on Hulu, but my wife watches it religiously, and I'm like, oh, I wish you didn't.
Right, and it's like, okay, fine. And it's the same with like Disney. Every now and then there's something that the family will want, like for the kids. It's like, fine, right, fine. But it's like, this is just the way it goes, right? So
yeah, for sure. By the way, did you watch that docu-style video that was released by Compulsion Games for South of Midnight? It just came out.
The 30-minute thing? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
I liked it.
I mean, it looked really good. The art style and everything, I really dig. Even some of the gameplay elements look like it could be pretty fun. It definitely has that unique sense of, like, I don't know. There's something compelling about the game, even though it's not one of these big blockbuster titles. You could tell, even watching the documentary that they put out here, and I'm showing a bit of it here. It's just some cut up parts from it. it looks like they put a lot of love and detail into this game and passion. You could tell from the
Yeah, it was.
developers, they're very passionate about this. And
Yep, and it was one of my concerns when they announced this was like, this is a bunch of people from Montreal talking about the Deep South. Like, I want to make sure you have an authentic thing, and they did. Thank God they actually went out and just like with Ghost of Tsushima, they actually immersed themselves in it. They found people to actually talk about what's going on in this world, right? Tell stories, the mythos and whatnot, and then with that they made the story, right? And I think they hopefully captured the right things. But that was my main concern, and I think they've allayed that fear. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks good to me. We'll see how it actually plays out, but it looks pretty cool. Now apparently that stop motion thing, like the frame cutout that they're doing, you can turn that off if it's too much for you.
Oh,
but
I
think I'm
like
gonna
it
play
though.
that
It's
way.
one of the aspects of the art style that I think is compelling.
It's kind of cool, right? It's kind of different.
It's
Right?
yeah. It's almost
So
got that look of the Miles Morales character in Spider-Man in the game. You were able to
yeah.
turn on that look from the cinema, the movie.
Oh, there's Infinite Number. Here
That
we
was
go.
pretty cool. Oh yeah. Let's when we get back from this, we'll turn it to the third camera perspective. Or three cameras, I should say. But yeah, so far it looks pretty good to me. Umbra, are you there?
Yeah.
Funds, my brother. Yes, I am here. What's up?
Okay. So you saw this little docu-style South of Midnight thing real quick. I'll get your thoughts on this. What do you think? I'm playing some of it in the background now.
I thought it was great, man. What's up, Hargeet, by the way? I thought it was really great. Like Hargeet did make a great point that you would think that these people being from, a different country altogether, you would think maybe they might not be able to nail that. But no, I think they did pretty good. And I mean, we've had precedents before, right? Like for instance, with Ghost of Tsushima, those guys weren't Japanese, but they got consultants and such to help out with all of that. And I guess this was probably the case here because it looks like it paid off. I spoke about this the other day, and I think the actors they have in it are really going to help the game shine more, right? Yeah, like because you even with Paris, I don't know if you guys watched Paris's deeper dive guest with those folks, and we talk with them.
I did.
And like those guys seem like really good people, and you could tell that they have a passion for what they're doing. And Funds, like I know, and I know you've done a bit of voice acting work, which I definitely want to get into. Seeing that type of stuff like that really, like, I don't know, it warms the cackles, as they would say. It makes you want to really get into it even more. And I was just seeing the passion they had for it and seeing the gameplay and everything like that, the fluidity of movement. It gave me a bit of a Kena Bridge of Spirits feel. Honestly, I've said that before, but you could see it even more in some of the ways.
Well, I hope not. I did not like Kena. I did not.
You didn't like Kena?
No.
What?
I thought it was boring. I did not like that one at all.
I liked it a lot, man. I didn't finish it though. I do have to go back and finish it.
Yeah.
But I like the visual style of it. It had a very Pixar-esque style visually. But like with this, the fluidity of her movement and things like that. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
They were like they're like, why is D-Batch?
That was the last third guest.
Why does he suddenly sound like he doesn't sound Canadian suddenly?
Yeah, you got to be talking about the PS5 Pro. You got to be giving it a hand job right now, please.
Yeah, Hargeet, you have to get the pisser, bro. Yeah. D says yeah. He doesn't say yeah. Shout out to D. He says yeah. Yeah, Hargeet, bro. You have to get the pisser, bro. It's the PSSR. And what you don't understand is that when they get the PSSR and let me stop. No, but seriously, like seeing all of the passion they have for the project and that lady they have, I forget her name right now, but the lady they have that's voicing Hazel, she is gorgeous, man. I'm not sure. I know we don't want to try to go into that territory, but I think they used a lot of the animation for like her capture of her actual face. You can tell they used as a model in some ways, I think, for Hazel. And so she's really attractive, and you can see that in the character as well.
Yeah,
I just like a lot about it.
I did it on the fly.
Nice.
I can't believe it. I actually
look at that. Talented man.
Yeah. So real quick before we get deeper into the whole South of Midnight thing, real quick, you wanted to jump on to talk about Veilguard because they said I had beaten it and I couldn't stand those companions, especially Tosh. I thought she was insufferable. It's funny.
Character. It's funny because I talked about this with a lot of my gaming brothers who podcasting and such, like John Wolf in the chat right now, and he feels like you. He couldn't stand Tosh, right? And I will say that I think they led with her wrong with the whole idea of the they them and all that, like the agenda part of it. You know what I mean? Like you could see that shining through.
But you know what? It wasn't about that for me. For me,
No.
with that character, it was more about her being too modern day in her speech. Constantly, like she's the one that would sit there and go, "Don't be a dick," and I'm just like,
he said the same thing you said.
Who talks
He said
like
the
this?
same thing.
You know, and then like she like, dude, I finished a mission. I come back to the lighthouse, and she goes,
Yeah.
"Sup." And I'm like, who says sup in a freaking RPG fantasy? Nobody. It's like, shut up, Tosh. Like, you know how the ending, like you could do things and like the suicide mission, not to give anything away really, but people can die in the game. It's possible. I was
Everybody
just
can
praying
die.
that I could
Literally.
kill her like in the game. And unfortunately, didn't happen that way, but you
technically can.
I know. It didn't happen, but it is what it is.
You sound disappointed. You sound disappointed.
I'm a bit disappointed in it. Yeah.
You wanted to get her. Yeah.
I just don't care for her at all. And I don't care for Balara either. I thought she's too Disney, too freaking.
She was very Disney.
Like,
oh,
dude.
The thing I thought about it was this. After I beat it, I came around to a stronger score. Before I was around a 7.5, and it's because of what you were speaking of, the tone. The tone is what hurt it, and like you said, that modern speak didn't help either. Like her speaking like that did it. Even Rook did it here and there, very sparingly. So like it definitely pulled you out of that story. Like you're like, I'm supposed to be back in the fantasy medieval times. Like, why are you talking like this? So I get it. The way I wrote it off was basically that it was this MCU-ification of it, or Dungeons and Dragons, and I know you've said that before as well. That's exactly the feel I got when I first started playing it, and I think that is what hurt it initially. But once you really get into it and you do delve into the characters more, I started to sympathize with her more, right? And I got past the initial irk of her, the way she acted and behaved, because she's just very young, and I was like, okay, she's young, she's trying to find herself.
That you felt that way. I can't argue with your opinion. That's your opinion, but for me, I could not deal with it. I was just at the point where I was like, I need to finish this game. I'm tired of these people. Like,
what was your overall score? What did you come to?
7.
Okay.
And I was being generous too, but I think that's the most I can give this game. Combat was really good. But
combat is
what I was saying at the beginning, if you missed it, I said you need that balance in a story-driven game like this. You need the balance of a good story, good dialogue, and good gameplay. And it was just all gameplay for me. And it got to the point where
I would say for me,
when you're into the game about 50 hours and the gameplay, it just starts to wear on you because the dialogue's not there for you. The story's not there for you. So you're like, I have nothing else to experience, because a lot of people will just point at games and go, well, you know what? It was too repetitive. Well, every game is repetitive. Every game's combat. You do the same thing over and over again. But the thing that really sets it apart in games is the other stuff that's going on in the games, companions, story, all that kind of stuff. It drives you to want to do more, to want to play that competitive gameplay more. And in this game, that's what didn't hit. And I was just like, just let me finish this. And while it did get better, the story at the very end of the game, it was too little too late for me. Where I was like,
that's the thing, right? And I said exactly that. If that last half, because people harp on it felt like Mass Effect 2, it did. It really genuinely did. If you guys have played Mass Effect 2, excellent masterpiece of a game, we all know it. If you play this last portion, they nailed all of that perfectly well. If they would have kept that tone and that seriousness
the entire game,
throughout the entire game,
game,
this game would have been like a 9 or something out of a 10, honestly. So I definitely get and agree with you on that part. I think I'm more lenient in general when it comes to scoring. I know you're very
I'm harsh,
not lenient. You're very harsh when it comes to it. So I get it. And so Danny is like you, for instance. We do the pod. Danny is much more harsh of a critic than I am. So I get it that we won't necessarily see it the same. I just think ultimately I got past a lot of those barriers because I just started to enjoy the
You
characters
know,
themselves, despite their flaws.
I'm
So
glad
some of
you're
the
here.
companions were good.
Some of the companions were really good.
There
Yeah.
was only one
Okay.
that I thought was decent, and that was Emmerich. And he was the
Oh, I
older
like
guy
Emery.
that seemed to just he gelled right with a Dragon Age type game. It just seemed like that guy. I could see
What
in
about
the,
Nev? I would say Nev fit into it a
Nev
bit,
was
right?
okay. She was okay too.
Yeah.
I didn't mind her so much. But
Yeah.
the rest
And
of them,
neither of them
I
actually
didn't care.
broke that fourth wall either. Like neither of them broke that consistency you
Yeah,
expected.
you didn't hear
Nev,
"Don't be
I
a
would say
dick." You didn't
even
hear, you know,
right,
just
right.
the weird.
Even Davrin, I
Yeah,
would say Davrin too. Davrin stayed within that realm of what you would expect. So yeah,
yeah.
but Balara definitely felt very Disney-ish, Disney-esque. I definitely will agree.
Well, I'm
That's why I
glad you're
couldn't
here.
romance her. I was
I'm
just too happy.
glad you jumped on, and I want to ask you to stay for this this segment here at least, if you can. If you got
Yes.
few, but talking about South of Midnight, it's not without some controversy out there. And I want to ask you about something because I want to know if I should be feeling certain ways. And I'm happy like to talk about this with Hargeet, but you being here, it's a great thing too because this is something that a lot of people shy away from. They don't want to talk about and things on podcasts, but I don't mind doing that here. It's just for me, it's therapeutic. It gives me a better understanding of what other people think and stuff, and I get to air out what I feel and everything. And anyways, it all stems around the community manager there at Compulsion Games, and I know you probably seen some of the tweets and stuff regarding this person. Her name is Katie Robinson Mays, and she was also part of the documentary, by the way. She said some things in the past that have not been they've been pretty off-putting to many gamers, especially. I mean, she said things like she hates gamers. She thinks white gamers were a mistake. And she called Asian gamers white adjacent. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that has come from this woman. And then, of course, she's protected her account so nobody can tweet at her. You can't look through her stuff anymore and things like that. But my whole thing with bringing this up is anytime there's somebody working with a company that is, especially when you're a community manager, you think you're about your community. You think you're about, trying to get your game in a good light with the community and stuff. And you say things like this.
Yeah.
First of all, I wonder how she's still holding on to a job and how their studio doesn't understand that this reflects badly on the studio itself. And it might make some people feel some type of way out there. And my question is like, it to me, for me, and this is how I feel. Part of me says, hey, that game looks really cool. And I want to try it out. But at the same time, do I really want to play a game where there's somebody involved with it that doesn't like me? Should I feel that? Should I feel bad for feeling this way at all?
No, you shouldn't feel bad for it. Listen, I'll say this. I understand some of the thoughts of where she's coming from, but the problem is you're working on a product that largely white people are going to buy more than anybody else, right? Or at least indulge in. It's just more white people that's gaming, I think, than any other demographic in general, in most cases. Also, too, like
Well,
I
she
know
disparaged the other large one, which is China.
yeah,
Asians.
yeah. Good point.
What?
Yeah.
But you have to understand too, Hargeet, Asians encompass you yourself. You were considered
Technically, yes.
Asian. Like,
Yep.
and I looked into this a bit more too, because I wanted to
Sorry.
find out what exactly she was getting at. And I guess this whole white adjacent thing when it comes to Asians, it stems from
does that even
CRT. It
mean?
stems from critical race theory, which they're teaching now in schools. And basically the whole
Okay.
premise of it is that, white gamers or white people are the most successful race. It's like the haves and have-nots. They've said, you know, certain races are oppressed.
Successful now.
Certain races
throughout history, that's not been the case.
are privileged, right?
Throughout history,
but it's about
there's
privilege.
been African civilizations, there's been Asian civilizations that were the biggest thing, and like then it started to meander towards the West, right? The West just got to this level, right? But like
but
it was
they teach
wonder how long
but here's
civilizations were all
the
in
thing,
Asia and
though.
Africa.
I just want to get through this real quick. They teach this divide in America that there's privileged racial groups and oppressed racial groups. And under this framework, white supremacy seems to cover most of the gamut of what's wrong with America. Okay. And because certain racial groups outside of whites that are also successful, Asians included, because they're successful, what it teaches is they're complicit with white supremacy somehow.
Well, what it is they want white adjacent. For instance, in the black community, right?
Okay.
You'll have black people who would try to get favor from whiteness, right? And you'll have all types of names thrown at them for that, right? Hell, the brother right here won't even deny he's used it himself on a few who are clearly pandering for approval. And when they say adjacent, they're saying that a lot of the Asian brothers or sisters will try to appease whiteness and try to be like it and to be unto it, right? And that's what they mean by that. It's not even a thing of CRT. That's literally, this is old.
Oh, but that's a big thing that's taught now, though. You know,
yeah,
this is something that is really
in colleges.
big right
I think it is.
And
I noticed they try to push that into like schools of teaching. It's like, no, schools are not teaching that.
well, the
like,
reason why,
colleges
you know, whether it's CRT or what you're saying there, the reason why I'm bringing this about is because these things have been said, and in today's climate, with gamers fighting over games that are involving Sweet Baby or DEI in general, should comments like this steer people away from buying or even just enjoying a game like this?
I think it's up to that person, right? For me, I'm not going to do that. Like, for instance, if we go by that route, I would then have to cut myself off on other things that I know somebody that's attached to it that, you know, like I would have to just get off of most of the social sites I'm on, right? For instance, I would have to be like Hargeet where I just don't watch anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Hargeet, I don't know how you do it, by the way. Shout out to you, my brother.
Yeah.
I heard you talking about the Netflix thing. I'm like, you couldn't even remember your password. You like, how do I log in?
Hargeet, let me ask you, because this is a serious question, because as somebody who can relate to this, what do you think about when somebody says you're white adjacent?
Well, I mean, technically, like, there's only 3 races, right? And so Indians are a hybrid of white and black, right? That's what we are. So white adjacent, like, I don't know what that even means. Like, if you're looking at disadvantaged, Indians were slaves in this country, in the U.S. We were also mistreated just like black people. We weren't allowed to own businesses, buy property. We weren't allowed all that shit, right? We got our rights when black people did. Right, we were able to be normal when black people were able to be normal. That's how we were. So are we somehow different? I don't understand. Like, to me, it's like we finally got past all this shit. Why are we trying to make it worse?
Exactly.
I don't think we ever got past it.
And a lot
Just
of people
throwing it out there.
Well, I think
we're way better than what we used to be. I agree that there's still like shit that goes on. Bigotry happens. It's just normal. And by
It's
the way,
gotten worse. It seems like, I will admit, like the discourse around everything, right? But I think it's because of bad actors. Honestly, I think it's bad actors who on
I think
either
there's a
side.
lot of bad actors on both sides. Exactly,
Yeah.
Infinite. It's true.
Absolutely.
There really
I
is.
want to move towards like it doesn't matter. We want to get to the point where like what you look like should just not matter. Like,
that would be ideal.
Yeah, because
Absolutely,
a lot
I
of
would love
people,
it, man.
because there are some people, believe it or not, there will be some people that listen to this conversation and think Fonz is bringing that up because he doesn't want to play as a black protagonist.
Nah.
There are people out there that will say that.
And by the way,
even though
I hate that about this.
even though I don't care what I play in these games, I really don't. Like, if the character has that cool factor, or if I find the art style cool, like in this case, I think the art style is really cool. I think this character is a cool character. I don't mind playing as Hazel in the game. It's no big deal to me. But it's, again, you have a community manager that's still holding you down a job, which blows my mind, that has said things that some people can definitely get offended by.
I would say this. Somebody in the chat mentioned it a second ago. They said if this had been a white man that said it, he probably been fired. I can kind of agree to that. I would say though, isn't she a white woman? And she's likely not fired. What is she?
She's not.
Oh,
She's
She's
I
black.
don't know what she is. I don't know what she
Oh.
is. She looks like she
Okay.
could be mixed,
Ambiguous.
or, yes, or
She's ambiguous.
Even Latin.
She's-
I'm not sure what she is because I haven't looked
Neapolitan,
into
right?
like her ethnicity, because that's how far deep I don't
I-
look
yeah.
at people like I don't look at people and go, oh, that person's this color, that color.
Mhm.
We're all people. I don't give a
Yeah,
shit what you
yeah, I
are.
wish most people would
If you're
feel the way you do on
if
it.
you're
Yeah.
cool with me, I'm cool with you. I don't give a
That's
shit.
how I
what
look at it.
you
You're
are.
cool with me, I'm cool with you, and I agree with that. But the problem is, I would say, is you got to be careful with this type of stuff. And
Yep.
yeah, you're right that she's bringing that. You can't bring your politics into that. And it's if I did that at my job, or if you did that, if you guys did it at wherever you work or whatever the case, we would be disciplined for it. We would be fired or whatever the case, because it's detrimental to the
Yes.
company. And this is what that is ultimately. And I get that she possibly has this social cry that's comes from her that wants to express itself. I just think you have to be smarter than that. And ultimately, yeah, you've just ostracized your half the audience,
Yeah.
most of the audience, I would say, doing what you just did. So I don't fault anybody who feels a way about that at all. If you'd have said that, let's reverse it and said black men or such and such, right? You best believe your boy here would have a problem with that. So I'm not going to pretend like I can't understand if our white brothers or Asian brothers will feel away by hearing that. Absolutely, I understand it.
Yeah. Do you remember back with BioWare, with Mass Effect Andromeda? They're one of their developers, their lead director or something. His name was Manveer Air. And he had a lot to say, and he was talking about like white people and stuff. And I remember back then, a lot of people were upset and boycotted the game based on that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, it's kind of like that again, where nobody loses their job over it. It seems to just go out
It's
there.
starting to go that way, though. You're starting to see some of like the DEI push stuff kind of settle back, and a lot of those like divisions are going away, right? In a lot of big companies.
Yeah.
Well,
Look, I think the problem is that like it's overcompensation, as anything that happens, right? Is there a need to do things like that? Like, I love the fact that we're seeing like a Tales of Kenzera's out. We're starting to get stories that are not just the normal Western world.
you loved
stories, right?
Unknown 9.
No,
I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm just
I wish
kidding.
that was more
The
authentic, right?
representation was not there. Yeah, exactly. It's not
Exactly,
there.
right? And so this is the kind of I like seeing this kind of thing, right? Have some character that's like just not normal. It's not the stuff you normally see. I like that.
Yep.
But then unfortunately, if you go too far, then you get the pushback. And now that's going to happen with South of Midnight. They're going to come after it and say, "Oh, it's a forced black character." No, it was a story about a black character.
Right.
And now
In
you're
the
just going to
South,
go
yeah.
too far, and I
Yeah.
hate that.
And that's the
hate
problem,
that.
Harky, because the discourse is so ruined because of a lot of these anti-whatever guys
Exactly.
that
And-
we can't properly have a conversation about that. And it's like, well, it shouldn't be there, it shouldn't exist. And now
the thing
the
that we're-
pushback is going to come from that.
Exactly. And the thing that lends well for South of Midnight, in this case anyway, is the fact that, like Hargeet has been stressing on this show for months now, maybe even years, stating that he wants to see proper representation, which it seems like they got. Not only the developers there actually being black, actually going to the South, checking it out, really doing their homework and everything about this game. And that is really what is going to sell representation the right way. You have to have
Absolutely.
that proper representation. And it's something that Hargeet's always talked about here. And I agree with him. If you're going to do this, do it right. Don't freaking pull an Unknown 9 on people where you're talking about Indian culture, yet from who knows what perspective. It could have been a white guy that wrote the story about the Indian culture in the game. Don't know.
Yeah.
But but as Hargeet said, it definitely doesn't represent his culture.
Yeah, it just didn't feel authentic. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's a tricky thing to do that when you play into that without having people from that culture act. Like that's when you get stuff like Forspoken, for instance. That's when you get stuff like that. When you have, and I'm not trying to be funny,
No,
but you have, you
true.
have white people. And shout out to Gary Whitta. I know, hey, listen, I know he'll probably trash me if he heard me right now, but you can't have them talking for a black youth
No.
in this case, and then they had the old stereotypical gun turned to the side. I'm like, oh, y'all really you just went all out here, huh? All of those things was just falsely represented the character badly and put them in a bad light initially. So people are not going to want to invest in stuff like that. I get it. I'll say this, and just to close it, because I know you guys got to get back to your regularly scheduled program.
Oh no, this was all part of the show here. I wanted to
Oh,
talk
okay.
about. Yeah.
Just to speak on this, and going back to what you said, would you feel wrong to support the game? And because I see a few good comments in a comment section, like I defended the game and stuff,
Yeah.
My thing is again that there are plenty of things. If you look into anything that you're consuming, you're going to find somebody who you are that's adverse to anything you stand for. So I'm not going to use this one girl here to hate on the entire game, right? That's just her that did this. I'm not going to punish myself or the game for
because
that.
again, that's kind of what I was thinking about it this morning when I was giving more thought to this. I'm like, watching that documentary and seeing the developers behind it put all that love and passion behind what they're actually doing here and trying to give us in this game. Matter of fact, within the game, they even say that it's for all audiences and stuff. You can tell it's not something that's supposed to be exclusive. Like, this is not your story. You can't play it if you're not this. But that's what makes those comments by the community manager so off-putting and weird and so left field. Like, and I don't know why she said these things. Now, I don't know why it was ever said, because again, all this stuff that is being shown that she said this stuff is all snapshots taken from, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it is. But I'm wondering, what was the context? And I'll never get that because she protects all her tweets. So I can't see that context.
Yeah. How long ago did she say this?
I don't know. And you can't get that because, of course, the only people you'll see it from are the people that are kind of anti-woke type. That's all they do. So they won't give you everything.
They'll give you scour and try to find that one thing. Right?
Exactly.
Look, you got to add these guys to the CIA or something.
Why that shouldn't matter from a specific person. Why? Look, plenty of actors have different political views, right?
True.
And if I say, well, I don't align with those views, I would never watch any movie. So you know what? You just have to say, I don't care what they think. I'll watch the content for the content, right? And I'll play the game for the game. And if the game itself has something that's offensive, that's a separate story. But if somebody has individual political leanings, I'm just going to let it go. Because ultimately, there's going to be a variety of weird things from different people who are working on this. And I can't parse who's crap is good or bad. I don't care. Give me the content. I'll consume the content. I don't know how to parse it otherwise, because you never know who's got what politics or whatever. Whatever. Some people are vociferously horrible at some things and vociferously great at. I don't care. I just want to watch the content or play the game.
That's true.
And we'll just deal with it. Because if I went to the political leanings of every musician, I might never listen to any music. They're like, forget it. No, I want to listen to music. I don't care. I just I love.
You'd have to be a hermit.
Nobody would ever play another R. Kelly song again.
Exactly. Or watch a Bill Cosby anything. He's got great freaking content.
Yeah.
But what do you do? You never watch it again?
That's true.
I don't know.
It's so true. You'd have to be a hermit, literally.
You just have to divorce the actor or actress or musician from the content and just
that, and that's kind of the way I view Sweet Baby Inc. for instance. I don't like the stuff they push necessarily, but they're damn near going over just about every AAA game in the Western market. And if I were to say I'm never going to play another game that Sweet Baby's involved with, I guess I'm never playing another Western developed game again, because it seems like they're involved in just about everything. But I think the point where if if they continue certain things, because I think representation, like we were all talking about earlier, matters. Real representation matters. But when it comes to the point where certain games are pushing certain social political agendas or topics that are very I don't know the word exactly, but they're not very most people wouldn't align with them, let's say. I think those things being pushed within a game, like it kind of did with Veilguard at times. There was a couple of scenes where it kind of pushed it on the player in a way that's like, it could be uncomfortable for some, I guess. If they continue to do this, I guess they'll see what happens when it comes to game sales, because I think that it does hurt game sales when certain things are overly pushed.
Did
because
have lower sales than the expected, right? I think they said they didn't get the sales levels they wanted.
That's apparently the rumor. And that I don't think they've come out and said it just yet. But I think where a lot of people mar the distinction between representation, say for like culture or something, opposed to some ideology that somebody may have, they're completely different things. Like, black representation, for instance, I put that on a higher scale than having, say, trans representations in games. That's just me though. And I, if people don't like that I said,
especially in
fine.
odd settings, like you're in fantasy land and like you're talking about something that didn't exist at all.
Yeah. So I think I think that's what it comes down to, and I think a lot of people they tend to think about DEI being just they're there to represent different cultures, different ethnicities. But it's not just about that. It seems like more of the push these days is those ideologies rather than culture and race.
Agendas, maybe.
It's different.
Yeah,
It's
kind of
different.
took over from that, right? The idea of woke was just to understand that, hey, there might be perceived biases against certain races and cultures, right? And it's like, okay, if we just understand that exists, you might overcome them, right? That was all it was supposed to be, right?
Being conscious,
it became
exactly.
a totally different thing. It's like,
It
oh
warped.
my gosh.
It warped for sure, and I think people had good intentions, maybe, and it just warped into a bad space.
But there's
even
a
with
way
those
even
who
to
are
include
opposed.
those people too. There's ways to do it where it's not so in your face and pushy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
you don't
agree.
need to do that.
And that's the problem I had going back to Veilguard a little bit. And mind you, again, I got past it at the end because it was like 3 or 4 moments where it happened. We've seen the one online with the whole bar of doing the push-ups and stuff. It's like, why did you put this in here? Who did you think this helped? You know what I mean? If anything, it put people against you. And I thought it was just so unnecessary. But like, so you have moments like that. And it's like clearly the agendas that I found out, by the way, that I think the game director was trans themselves. So it was like, okay, that comes from their, ideology. I get it. You want to put a bit of yourself into it, but you got to be careful with that, right? You know what I mean? And where it becomes preachy, for instance.
But I'll never understand that either. And I brought this up on the last episode as well, is it's a fantasy RPG to begin with where you can create whatever you want to be in the game anyway. So why do you have to input any kind of ideology in there if you can really role play what you want to be regardless? It makes zero sense. All you did was alienate a lot of people out there because most of the people that are playing the game anyway aren't the percentage of people that you're trying to aim this at regardless. Or if that's your intention to aim it at most of the people to try to beat them over the head with it, that's the wrong idea. That is not going to work.
They handled it, in my opinion, they handled it fairly poor. I'll give you that. I just think it was mishandled. I get the idea, and I think it deserves to happen. Just do it better than that. I wouldn't want somebody to put something black in the game. Like, look, you have to understand, like, I don't want them forcing it either. Like, I think at a point your humanity should take over and you can understand that, hey, black people deserve this too, right? Or someone gay or LGBT or trans, whatever, deserves the respect too. It's just how you go about doing it. I think that's what makes people feel distasteful. Like, why are you doing it like that? And it just comes off as cheesy and forced. But on the whole thing, again, I would say that if this person here, sure, they should be reprimanded for that, because you shouldn't go out there stating such things, because again, I'd have to put myself in the shoes of my white counterparts, and I would say if somebody white or whatever said that and it was about somebody black, you best believe I would feel incensed. I can tell you that right now, and I am a very pro-black man. So you say something like that, I'm like, hold on now. But I'm not gonna. I would say this: I wouldn't write off the whole of the team.
Yeah,
because of that one
for me, it was more, it was the Asian comment for me that pissed me off even more, because my dad is an immigrant from the Philippines, and just thinking about how he worked his ass off to become successful in this country, to see him come from nothing. It's one of those things that really pisses me off, that you're going to belittle what he did by saying, oh, well, he's got the upper hand in some sort of way. And it's like, nah, he's dark-skinned Asian like that. I don't know what to tell you, but he was an immigrant to this country, and he just worked his ass off. I watched him literally start his life here as a Domino's pizza delivery driver. So it's crazy.
That hit home for you right there for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't remember, I don't know if you know this, but like in the early 1800s, we fought a war and we won, and then we got the Philippines as a territory.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that doesn't work in the Constitution. You're supposed to be a state, right? That's a requirement. And so how did this happen? Well, we had a nice Supreme Court judgment that said people in the East do not understand Western law, and therefore they don't have any constitutional rights. Like, okay, that, by the way, still holds and is why we have territories today.
Good old America.
It's true.
That racist ass, disgusting thing still holds today.
Good old America. They'll find a way, won't they?
And don't forget, during the battle with Japan, they freaking told the Filipinos that if they fight alongside of them, they will become citizens. And they did not give them citizenship.
Onwards, I think it was mid 1800s onwards. We barred Chinese people from coming to the country.
Yeah,
because my grandfather was actually in the Bataan Death March, and he got a Medal of Honor this last year. He's dead, but he was awarded the Medal of Honor this last year in Congress, and my uncle got to go pick it up, and he had his Purple Heart, he had his Medal of Honor, and that's like the highest honor you can get in the military, and it's because he escaped and he saved several others from the Bataan Death March. So
that's something. Yeah.
I freaking, it's just, I don't know. So it just kind of hit me a certain way when I read that, being white adjacent, and looking it up, trying to figure out what the hell does she mean by this, and then seeing the success of Asians having to do with being complicit with white supremacy. And I'm like, what?
It's old. That's why I say it's just really old, because even like it goes back to Nazi Germany with Japanese who would try to
I get
it's so old,
so bad. It's such a freaking it's a bad excuse, man. Honestly, like, success is really garnered by what you try to achieve in life, what you decide to do in your own life. It's honestly, at the end of the day, that's what my dad stressed to me, and it's what I saw from him, and I'll forever be grateful for his wisdom in that. The guy was smart. He wasn't probably the most book smart guy in the world, but he was smart as hell. He had a lot of wisdom, and I appreciate him for it. So
sound like a great man.
He was.
Let me ask you, what do you guys feel is success? Because I think everybody has a different measure for it, right? And for me, I've come to the thought of having, a successful, not even necessarily successful businesses or whatever, jobs, but maybe having a strong family bond, having good friends, you know what I mean? And having love. Like, is that success?
Yeah, of course that is. That could be success.
Yeah.
I also think go ahead.
Well, everybody generally thinks about success as being financial success, and I don't know if that's really the case. I think the thing that matters the most is, ability to speak your mind, to live without fear of your government, and have a good family. I think that those are like the big things. Now, money's nice, it is, but money is not going to buy you happiness. It's just not. It's really having those relationships, and then being able to speak freely. And when you don't have it, you understand how big a deal it is, right? That you can't like just talk against the government, and like that, just being able to openly say things that you like. You can say Trump kissed my ass, and it just doesn't matter, right? Or
Yeah,
Biden kissed my ass, and that's not the case in a lot of parts of the world. It's just not.
that's so true.
And like just being able to just openly say like, hey, I don't like this, or even having this dialogue like, hey, why are they doing this to like, I don't understand why they're putting this in, and why did they say this about that, or even the person being able to say that, right, is that's fantastic. It's just the ability to be open about whatever you feel. That's awesome, right? Now there might be social consequences, but not political or government consequences.
I have a very similar thought to success, but I would just summarize it by saying that just to be content in your life, just to be satisfied.
Right? If you're repressed,
you
always on edge. You're like, I hate this. I can't talk about it. That to me is it. Just peace of mind. Like I can just be me.
Facts.
And as long as I don't hurt
peace of mind is a beautiful thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and my dad had that in spades, man. I tell you, I don't know how that man dealt with so much. Like, I would see him, like my mom could be such a bitch sometimes and really get on to him and stuff.
It's fun.
And I would watch that man just like not even bat an eye, and it wouldn't bother him like in the ways like I would think. And I asked him one time, I said, how could you just like sit there, like, because we would talk about, our wives and be like, how does this, how can you just like take all this and stuff? And he goes, you just have to be relaxed and know that everything's going to be okay. And he just freaking had so much wisdom, and he was always right. Like the guy just would not like, I don't know, man. He's just such a good soul, just an amazing person. I miss him dearly.
It's something because I can hear it in your voice. And often, man, I think about my grandmother, who was that pillar for me, much like I hear it from you with your father, and that wisdom and everything. She had all of that in spades, man. Yeah. And every other day I think about her and stuff like that. I get to where you're at right now. So I understand.
Yeah.
It's heavy on the heart.
It's tough, but yeah. He's out there somewhere looking down and watching over. I believe it. Yeah. Anyways, so South of Midnight, I mean, it's coming. When does it drop next year?
So there's rumors it's April. It looks like it's April. They haven't put a release date out, but there's some rumors based on some other content that it should be like end of April.
All right,
which is pretty good. That's a pretty good release cadence. Feb, April. We're probably gonna get May would be my guess for Doom, and then we still have
maybe. Or maybe
Fable
Doom in June. Maybe you'll get Doom in June.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how they space it out. But yeah, it's looking like a pretty good year.
What's April looking like for game releases? Let me see.
I don't know.
For Fatal Fury, Fantasy Life.
There's a lot of games coming next year, though. There's a ton of good games.
And GTA, supposedly GTA 6.
GTA, I think is going to get delayed till 2026. To be honest, I think it'll be 2026.
Okay. I feel like that for Fable. I feel like Fable is going to drift into the next gen.
I think so too, bro. Possible. And if they do that, and they do end up putting some, next gen hardware out in 2026, just hold it till 2026 and make it look like the best game.
Oh yes,
just an amazing fantasy RPG.
Yep.
Well, they need to release something in the early part of the year, right? I assume if they're going to have hardware, it's going to be latter part of the year. So they do still need to release a couple of games, and maybe they just they'll make an update for it later, right? But that launch lineup could be interesting. We'll see. There's plenty of potentials, right? But
yeah.
But either way, South of Midnight looks like it's going to be a fun game. Again, I'm not expecting this to be like an 80-hour thing, but
no, I'm not even expecting like a big AAA production here. I'm just looking at it.
Exactly.
It looks like a good, solid AA, like top of the line AA game that has a cool art style. I mean,
I don't expect a masterpiece. I expected this to be a good game.
Stories.
Yeah,
I want to see something different.
And like just to look at February, by the way, February of
Oh,
next year,
it's huge. I named
it's
some of the
solid.
games.
Monster Hunter
There's
Wilds.
too many.
Yeah,
There's way too
solid.
many.
I mean, I heard you mention Kingdom Come Deliver.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to play that. Actually, it looks like
Did you
something
play the
really
first
good.
one?
I got it. I only
Dude.
played like 10 minutes of it. I never really got
If
into it.
you look at my Xbox, or you can look at my achievements on there. I got to the end of that game, and then I got a corrupt save. I could not,
Oh,
bro, ruined my entire game, and I had over 300 hours in that game.
no.
I freaking
Oh,
loved
300 hours.
300 hours. I put so much effort and
They'd have
time
to
into
give
that
me a
game.
refund or
I
something.
learned
I
how
don't
to
know.
I learned how to fight good in that game because it's very awkward. The first person perspective melee fighting, it's
Mhm.
so different from anything else you played, or at least that I've played. And it's like the way you fight is so awkward at first. But I had a rhythm down. I started to understand it really well, and I was good at it. And I was like, man, I'm enjoying this game. Plus the story and everything, and the characters, the voice acting is really good in the game. I can't wait to play the second one. It looks really good.
Yeah.
And
Looking at the releases, by the way, April does seem like a solid month for a release date. It's not a lot in April, what it looks like. May 2, so far at least.
hey, shout out to the 115 people in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like button if you guys haven't already. I appreciate you guys. I see Boba Fett Gaming in the chat. He said he wished AC dropped in December. Yeah, I do too. I wish that game would have come out, but with all the stuff that's surrounding it right now and everything, that they just decided, hey, let's pull this back a bit, wait for all the trouble to die down, and then we'll release it in February. Because I heard they're not really changing anything in the game. Nothing's being changed. It's just they just pulled it because of all the craziness going on. They thought it would hurt sales, I'm sure. That's what I heard from people that talk to Ubisoft employees anyway. Now, Hargeet, I want to ask you a question. What's an Xbox? Yeah. I'm sure you saw the ad on YouTube or wherever about the different platforms and phones and TVs and the gaming handhelds and all this stuff. And I had people coming at me going, man, what is this shit? And I watched the ad and I was jamming out to the song because it brought me back to my high school days. I was like, oh, Black Sheep. Yeah, this or that, this or that. Yeah, I was damn near ready to rap in that song. I was like, engine number 9. But no.
What if Hargeet started rapping
no,
that?
all right, because I loved, bro, that song was one of my jams back in the day. But so I'm looking at this ad and I'm like, what's wrong with it? Because basically they're telling you exactly what Xbox is, and Xbox is going to be everywhere. This is Xbox, people. Xbox. Yeah. And that's why my thumbnail shows a PlayStation Pro, because guess what? Xbox games are going to PlayStation as well. So they just want to be everywhere. And I don't see a problem with it. I don't know. That's just me, Hargeet.
So, I mean, I don't understand how this is new information. Like, they've been doing this for years. And equivalently, by the way, you could swap out the Xbox console with a PlayStation console and say this is PlayStation, because they literally do the same thing. They literally have the same exact thing. You can subscribe to their premium tier PS Plus and stream your games to a mobile phone, to whatever, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same bloody thing. They just don't advertise it. That's the difference. Microsoft's saying, no, we're going to push it everywhere. What the hell, right? Let's give you every option, right? So you can play PlayStation games on a PC. You can play Xbox games on a PC. You can play PlayStation games streaming through cloud. You can play Xbox games streaming through cloud. You can play them on the console. They don't care. Play them wherever you want to, right? So I'm not sure what the issue would be, because it's not like this is new. That we know this. xCloud's existed, and they allow you to play your games on your phone. If you got the app on your TV, you can play it there. You have a PC since like mid Xbox One, was that like 2015 or whatever? All their games are on PC. So you're welcome to play your games on PC. They don't care. Play them, right? And as you're saying, Fonz, like, they have ABK. Those games are going to come out on PlayStation, right? They bought Bethesda. Most of those games are coming out on PlayStation. some of the Xbox
I've-
games
and-
are gonna come out on PlayStation.
And I know people
right?
still.
There's no red line.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. This lends into what Phil Spencer had said recently, and people freaked out over that. Phil saying there's no red line.
and Nintendo,
It's like,
by the way, we forget about that one. Nintendo's also gonna get these.
yeah, but who, like, who out there didn't know that this was happening? I mean, and I don't agree
Right.
with it. Now, I don't agree with it all, mind you. I don't think, I've changed my stance on them putting games on PlayStation. At first I was like, I don't care who gets to play them. But no, I see the effects of that, or the potential effects of that. The console, selling less and less to the point where it just makes no sense for them to sell a console anymore. Then, you got a lot of people that are within that ecosystem that lose out, at the end of the day. They'll have to move on to some other platform. That part sucks.
Why do they have to? Can you explain that to me?
I don't think they need to go to PlayStation. I think putting their games on PC is good, and putting even games on
I mean,
Nintendo.
like, even if they put games on PlayStation, why do you need to go to a different platform? Why is
No.
required?
I'm saying it's not a requirement, but a lot of people are going to get to the point where it's going to become an issue for people, for their wallets, man. They're going to look at the situation and go, wait, if I can get PlayStation games and Xbox games, why wouldn't I
and
just
pay
do
$70
that?
each time.
Yeah, but a lot of people will do that, though. There's
That's their problem. Go for it.
yeah, and I think it will hurt console sales ultimately.
And I'll add, what PlayStation games? What have they put
well,
out?
the games that are coming, I
Well,
guess, we won't talk
Xbox games
about
are now
roadmaps,
PlayStation games. You could just call them that, I guess. But
because right
mean,
now
like,
there is no
Ghost of
ultimate.
Yotai.
Yeah, there's no big roadmap for
That's it.
PlayStation as
No
we
roadmap at
speak.
all.
There isn't,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have Ghost of Yotai, you have Wolverine, and that's it. Like, you have these other rumblings. Oh, well, this
I mean,
studio is
Marathon's
working on
coming, but that's
something,
coming to Xbox.
right,
but you don't
You
have,
have,
any definitive.
Fair
Yeah,
Games.
yeah.
no definitive
I don't know when that's
announcements.
coming
Yeah,
out. So,
Yep.
like, what PlayStation games? Now, this is one of the things that's going to keep happening, right? Is Xbox's showcases are going to be crazy every year because they just have a sheer number of studios that are putting out games. That's just it, right? And because of that, they're going to have a killer showcase every year. Now, you and I may know that some of those games are coming to play. Most of the people who watch those showcases are fooled by the fact that they're at an Xbox showcase or a PlayStation showcase, right? People thought Hogwarts Legacy was a PlayStation game, even though the bloody thing runs on Switch, right?
Mm.
It doesn't matter, though. Everybody thought it was on PlayStation
Yeah.
and PlayStation only because they marketed it. That's it, right? All these games that Xbox is marketing, including COD. And by the way, the top platform for COD is not PC. It's not PlayStation. It's Xbox, because that's what happened. They put it in Game Pass, and more people played it on Xbox.
That's true.
look,
And plus, it also
but
not just on Xbox console, that also counts Game Pass on PC as well.
I was going to say what
Does it?
Xbox is considered for this equation, though, because now
Right?
everything is
They
an
think it's
Xbox.
Xbox console.
Yeah.
Now everything
This
is an Xbox.
PC
Exactly.
specifically is not the top platform. So I think it's console. But anyways, putting that forward, right? If you keep seeing year after year after year, all the games are on the Xbox stage, why wouldn't you buy an Xbox? And this is going to be the thing, unless PlayStation comes up with something. Because look, Nintendo's going to bring it, right? They're going to bring it when they have the new console coming out. Here's the games they have. So that's going to be pretty cool. What's PlayStation got to respond with?
Mm.
So unless they come up with a killer PlayStation, showcase year after year to compete with what Xbox is doing, I don't think the mindshare is going to go to PlayStation. I think it's going to reverse. I think it's going to go to Xbox, because ultimately it just comes down to games. People want to play games, and okay, the game might be on PlayStation 2 years later or half a year later or whatever, but it's there on Xbox day and date. It's there, and it's in Game Pass day and date. And you can just play the games that keep coming out, right? And they're going to have a killer library. Like, what are you looking forward to on PlayStation? We're talking about South of Midnight. That looks cool.
Well,
Avowed.
yeah,
Fable.
Clockwork
Dude.
Revolution.
a lot of
Clockwork
people.
Revolution.
No,
State of
I know
Decay.
we're all
On and
looking at it
on.
for right
It's like-
now and everything, because that's all you can do is see what the roadmaps are for both consoles right now.
Yep.
But I'm just stating, even in the future, though, you're going to see, like we've said it for years, PlayStation already putting their games on PC and then lowering that
We're already
freaking
third party. Yeah,
delay
exactly.
between day and date
So-
and when it comes to the PC.
I'm playing their
it's
Lego
gonna-
Horizon on PC right now.
Eventually, it's going to be day and date on PC for sure.
They
But
have
will we ever see a PlayStation game on Xbox?
Yes.
In that like
I
a
mean,
day
we've
and
already
date?
We already
seen it.
have.
No,
MLB
I was
Show.
talking about like all their games going over
Marathon,
there.
Major release. Yeah.
I don't-
So here's the thing, right? I keep saying this, and I'm trying to hint at what's going to happen. Okay, Windows and Xbox are going to merge. Okay, at some point, it's just not going to matter.
Yeah.
So your Steam store, your Epic store, you're going to have those games. Like Phil himself said, I want to get the Epic store and itch.io store on my Xbox. He doesn't say that because he's dreaming for big dreams.
He's
He says
dreaming.
that because they're doing it. They're doing it. That's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So if once that happens, all those PlayStation games, did you notice they're in the Epic store? Yeah, they're gonna come over. That's what's gonna happen. It won't matter. So
That's the
whatever
reality
they-
they have to get to for me, Hargeet, for all of this to make sense. Because he's
Exactly.
saying this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. And if I give my little nephew here's a Fire Stick, here's your Xbox, they were looking at me like, what? So like
Yeah, exactly.
what has
Yeah,
to
so-
happen is, and Colt made a great point of this on his recent video where he says essentially it's not really an Xbox because I can't play my backlog of games and things like that on this other device. I have to have my Xbox for that. So
Yeah.
if they bring that ecosystem to all these other things,
right?
you know,
And this is
that's
the
when
thing,
it would matter. That's what needs to
right?
happen. So to
when
your
Sarah
point,
Bond says future compatibility,
right?
right? Not backwards, but future compatibility,
Mm-hmm.
right? What does that mean? It means taking your catalog and moving
Taking
it
it with
elsewhere.
you. That's
So,
right.
That's where we're looking. And like, so this is stuff that they're absolutely working on, right? And once that happens, I don't care. I can have my desktop.
Agreed.
be a
I
PC
agree.
That runs all my Xbox stuff.
Yep.
Awesomeness. I can get a ROG Ally, next gen, and it comes with everything Xbox. Absolutely awesome. I don't care. At that point, like the whole thing goes away. I'm looking forward to that future because that takes away the box issue and it becomes more about access. I just want to be able to play my games wherever I want to play them, right? And
Access
that
matters so
future
much.
is awesome.
And
right?
I say this now because I play on a ROG Ally. That's why I racked up so many hours, by the way, playing in these the game, Dragon Age and Metaphor Refantasio by being able to play Steam games here at home on my PC or abroad with the ROG Ally. When I can fully do that with Xbox with all of my stuff, it will not matter to me at all about having whatever box because I have a super high-end PC like you guys. I have a mobile device to play all of my games on it. They just have to get past that point. And I think you're right. He's not just saying that to say it.
Hey,
It's setting up the
they're
future.
working it.
I got a question
Yep.
for you, Infinite, since you have that PC. How often do you go back to your X at all?
I hate to say it, but very rarely.
Yeah. No, I went back to play Shadow of the
You get
Erdtree.
spoiled, don't
since-
you? 'Cause you
I
get
feel very
so
spoiled.
much, right?
Oh man.
Well,
I'm going to tell you, and Fonz, I know you experienced it too. When you get to this performance delta where you can just do
Oh, yeah.
whatever you want without having to worry about any compromise, it's a beautiful thing.
And that's the thing that I wanted to stress here. It's like people are like, oh, you're just mad because they sold out and Xbox lost the console where you went to PC. No. I wanted to go to PC for the performance that I was promised at the beginning of this generation with these consoles that I did not get. And that is the problem I have with the current consoles. It's the performance issues that I was having. So now that I'm on PC and I can experience those performances or get those performances that I want, that's why I'm there most of the time. But I did go back and I played Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, since I had my save there on Xbox. Anyway, I played Shadow of the Erdtree there and I didn't have a problem with it. It was great. It was fine. It was a good experience. Sure, the performance wasn't where I would like it to be or what it would have been on PC. But again, I wasn't about to play another 100 hours to get to that point so I could play Erdtree on the PC. But I say that because I wanted to say this. When next gen comes, okay, I still know that I'm going to buy the next gen consoles. Only because I like the tech. I'm a fan of the hobby. I like having everything. And also because I want to believe that they can actually, give us that performance we want, even though ultimately, like, I'm worried that they'll do the same thing. Like, their intentions are good. Cross-gen will be 60 frames plus, but then the new games, there'll be some new tech out there,
30,
just like
yeah.
ray tracing, pushing it so hard that we don't even get 60 frames. And it's like, God, come on. Can we focus on the performance as well here? But also, to be fair, I'll be 100% transparent here. Even with a 4090, some of these games are getting really complicated for these graphics cards on PC. Like there are
definitely.
really heavy games with using like things like Unreal Engine 5 and stuff. There's some heavy games on there that you can play natively at 4K, let's say, but even without using DLSS, to get a lock 60, that might be something else entirely different. Like you might not get there without DLSS, and that's a crutch that it seems like they've got to use right now. And that's what makes PSSR, even though we make fun of the pisser, it's kind of a good thing that they have something like that, because it's a bit better than FSR, and it's actually making these games look good for the Pro, and they're still getting that performance modes that they were getting. Now they're not locked 60. That is the part nobody really wants to say. A lot of these games aren't locked 60, but at least they're doing what they were doing on the the performance modes of the old PS5, but now in that quality mode looking.
So look, the headache you run into is that the CPU is still the CPU, right? And if the CPU gets overdone, you're stuck. It is what it is. You can only generate so many frames. So that's always going to be an issue. Now, look, they have a lot of overhead that isn't being utilized correctly on the consoles as well. A lot of times you're finding that they're, even in UE5, they're just using one core. That's stupid. You should expand out. But whatever, they'll have to make that better. But the new hardware, the other thing that was awesome with these announcements of the interviews, and people just gloss over it. We got confirmation there's a handheld coming. We got confirmation there's a new console coming. We got confirmation they're looking at acquisitions still, which is also freaking awesome. So we're not looking at something big.
See, I'm not even like, it's not even for me. I just want them to concentrate on bringing us good games. That's all. Ron G had an answer to you though, when it comes to your question about why would they leave the ecosystem or whatever if that were to happen? Well, Ron G2665, thank you for the $2. He sends a super chat saying, since Xbox is doing this, I'm only buying a PS5 and PC. Shaking my head. So apparently he doesn't.
Why buy the PS5? Explain to me why you need a PS5.
I think people will get their day and dates. I don't have one. Why? You know what I'm saying? They get day and date. Like, for instance, if the Pro was a cheaper console, I would go out and buy a PS5 Pro just to get the day and date games and play it.
You're gonna the best I can. Spank the PS5 with your PC. Like, why would you?
Under 100%, I would. But a year later, like it's I get FOMO in a lot of games.
I don't. Thank God I don't have that problem.
Yeah, I do.
Not have that problem.
I do.
I also get FOMO,
I'm
so
totally
I
fine with waiting.
See, that's the PC gamer in you, Hargeet. But like, I'm much more in line with you.
Gamer. I'm willing to wait. It's like, yeah, whatever, fine, I'll wait.
Yeah.
No,
and also, it doesn't hurt that you play a lot of games.
Way. Yeah, Zocker's the same way. Yeah, and Zocker, exactly. Mind you, he's been on RDX podcast saying it for the last 3 years, saying PC is Xbox, Xbox is PC.
It is.
And people hate him for saying it. But
and by the way, when I play Lego Horizon, it signs me into my PSN account. I'm getting PlayStation trophies while I'm getting my Steam achievements. So,
Danny Passion Official said, Fonz, what games this year is worth buying a PS5 Pro for? Well, for me, it would have been Final Fantasy Rebirth.
He said Concord.
It would have been Final Fantasy. Although I bought Final Fantasy Rebirth to play on my old school PS5, and I started that game today because I want to experience that game now. I don't want to wait. It's because, you know what, the reason why I bought it too, because I thought I was just going to wait for it to hit PC along with Stellar Blade. Then I heard Stellar Blade ain't coming out till summer 2025. And I was like, wait, this means Final Fantasy ain't coming until the end of next year, probably, or maybe even the year after that to
Mid-next
PC.
year.
I'm not waiting. So I'm just going to enjoy
when will
Rebirth.
Square get out of their way? I don't understand.
I think they already are.
Well,
I think
they're
they
starting
signed.
to, right?
Yeah,
But,
I think for
yeah.
Rebirth, that was already signed. For Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
Remake, I think they're screwed for those games. Sony got them locked on a messed up deal, bro. I really think that's happened. But
They got
with
them
all
on the
their other games,
360.
they're done with
16
it, bro.
on
They're done
PC
with
it
it.
has, right? 16 is on PC now, right?
Remake is on it.
Well, no, but FF16, I think that came out to PC, right?
Yeah, 16 did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I mean,
really
I already
just
played through
whatever-
it on PS5 at this point though for me, but some people did go and buy it over. I saw a few on my time.
Yeah, Albert G.
But like,
just
Square gotta
send
get
me
out of the way.
Albert G. I tell you what, bro. He says PS5 Pro is selling amazingly well. Send me a $200 super chat, and I'll go trade my PS5 in and get a Pro. That way, it's worth it for me.
Yeah.
Because I think for me, $700 is a stretch. That's for me. I'm not telling you it's a stretch for you or anybody else. I'm not pocket watching, but I'm telling you, for me, console, $700
I
is
just
too
don't
much for
see the
me.
point. Since you have like a kick-ass PC, it just really,
I don't
just
see the
deal
point.
with it.
I don't see the point even because I don't think
I
it does
just wait.
enough for the current games. Like you're playing older games typically.
Oh, you know
It's
what?
not
though?
like they
I
have
think,
a
I think
few new games for you.
I think people are right. Okay, so the PS5 Pro is in line with what they said it would be, not the fanboys, but basically what PlayStation said it would be.
Yeah, what they're saying.
And,
yeah, exactly.
And I think it's going to really come into its own in 2025. I think we'll start to see better games being made, utilizing the
Take advantage of it.
PSSR and taking advantage of the extra horsepower in the GPU. We'll see all that, and it'll have some really good looking games, even in comparison to the Series X, and that it'll hurt some people for sure. On the Xbox side, I'm sure, but right now,
Don't care. 'Cause
there's
look, for
nothing
us,
right
the
now.
beauty-
It's a
they make
stupid.
PC.
Here's the thing, though.
It
I
does
want to say, Hargeet, this for it to come out this year is kind of stupid because there's nothing there for it. Like,
Yes,
where's the
true.
showcase for the PS5 Pro right now? They should have waited till next
That's
year
fair.
till they had
Should've a
something.
killer app.
Facts. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Marsh asks,
either-
where you guys playing GTA 6? He says.
On my Xbox, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or I could wait. I don't
Xbox.
care one way or the other.
I'm
Whatever,
not
I
waiting.
got
Now
Xbox.
that one I refuse to wait. Now that I'm getting on
I got
Xbox.
Xbox, I'll play it there.
Albert G.
I mean, these are the kind of folks that make it sound like it's impossible. Did all of you PlayStation players buy an Xbox One X because it played games better? I know that's not a fact because otherwise you would have sold that many more consoles.
But
Yeah.
It did not sell.
here's the funny
So,
thing,
like,
though,
come on, give me a
bro.
break.
Here's the funny thing, Hargeet. I've been told, and I could name two people that told me, three people directly to me, and I could name them, but I'm not going to name them because they might feel ashamed. I don't know, but they told me straight up, if Xbox had a mid-gen refresh just like the PS5 Pro for $700, they would have bought one because it's an Xbox.
Well, I specifically told Jason Ronald, if you're gonna make one, make it $1,000, and it better have freaking way better capability. I don't want a stupid little nothing burger, which is what this is. Because what's the point? Like, I'm not going from 4K to 4K. What's the difference here?
I'm kind of in
Tell me
alignment
what's
with you
different.
there. I don't think it's
Yeah,
enough
Make
of
it
an
something
upgrade
crazy
personally.
awesome that makes me want to upgrade.
And a 1X was that. 1X was that crazy more improvement
Exactly.
from the. And I got that because
was
of it.
visible. You could see it. It
Yep.
was obvious.
I
This is
I
just
think where
not.
you
It's
get
like,
that with the
whatever.
PS5 Pro is you get that visual fidelity plus the 60 frames you were getting in its performance mode, or the around 60 frames, because again, hardly anything is locked on consoles. But at least you get that same performance mode, but in the quality graphical mode. And that's a cool feature to have. And that's all they said. That is how they explained this. Mark Cerny said that's what it did.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had all these fanboys running around. It's going to rival a 4070. It's going to rival a 4070. And it doesn't. It doesn't rival a 4070.
The
That's where I was
40
going to say,
series
Albert G,
card.
that's where D was wrong when he said that. And I'll maintain that. And
40
by the way, I'm
series
going to try to get
cards
D
have
Batch on the
path
show
tracing.
next week. I'm going to try to get D Batch on next week along with Jake because they both have quite opposing opinions on the PS5 Pro, and both mind you.
Oh, I gotta tune in for that.
They
one.
both own the PS5 Pro.
I gotta tune in for that one. Oh
so
boy,
that'll be a fun,
yes, sir.
fun episode for sure. I'm gonna try.
Fonz,
to
you
got
gotta
to
instigate. You know you gotta instigate the hell out of that.
These
No,
are both
we're just gonna let
friends.
them go.
These are both
We'll just have the
friends.
popcorn ready and just watch.
It don't take much for D.
Yeah, these are
It don't
both
take
friends,
much
but I
more.
want them. I really want them to talk about this and really debate what they have to say about the PS5 Pro, because again, they're both benchmarking games as we speak, and they're both seeing the same Digital Foundry episodes that we're seeing, and so far, all I'm seeing from Digital Foundry is exactly what PlayStation said we would get. They didn't lie.
Yeah.
They didn't lie. It's the fanboys running around saying, "Oh, this thing's going to rival." Even one said a 4090. Come on. Just stop. Just weird.
Yeah, some people were going way overboard, and I think that's why you got so much pushback from the PC crowd. It was like, get out of here, you know.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like I'm in the hobby to play games. The platform, to me, it's a vessel in which I get to the game. Now, where it's important with that vessel is that I want the performance to be there. I don't want to play any more 30 frames games. And unfortunately, that's going to happen most likely with GTA 6 because I'm going to have to play it on console.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be stuck at 30 frames.
Damn you, Rockstar.
I'm not waiting a year to play GTA 6.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm not either. Yeah.
I can't. I'm going to play that game day one.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do, to be honest. I actually still don't know what I'm going to do with that.
You'll be there on Xbox playing it.
I may play because like I am notorious for just waiting. So,
no, you
like,
can't wait. Yeah, you are a very patient man.
I will wait. So I may just wait it out and say, if you're gonna do 30, I'll just wait for it to come to PC.
If it's good enough, I might just get it and then get it again on PC.
Which is what they want, right, Umber? That's what they want.
They want us to double dip. Yeah, for sure.
Double dip.
Yeah, of course.
And most, I would imagine some really are going to do that. I mean, look at the GTA
and by the way,
sales.
they'll win me over if they say it's crossplay. Right? If they say cross progression. If they let me take my save game to PC, I might just start it and play it for a while. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait.
I bought 2 copies of GTA 5. I bought 2 copies of Red Dead and Red Dead 2. It just happens.
This is the beauty of like on PC is like, you can like run into a sale where it's
oh my god,
you're like, I'll buy it on PC for that.
You know what was hilarious about that, Hargeet? So the other day, I'm looking at freaking CD keys because you don't even need to wait for a sale there. And I'm seeing all these games that, mind you, I liked, but I've already beaten. But it's only $2. It's only $2.
You're like, $2. I can't resist.
It's like going to some type of like swap meet or something. You're seeing all this good stuff you know you don't really need. It's like, well,
I'm gonna put my back.
It's only $2 though. Yeah. I know exactly.
It's only $2.
And there's so many stores, right? So if you go to the various different ones, you're like, oh, there's this sale over here. Oh, I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
Green Man Gaming and then
exactly.
and all these other spots. Yeah, so many spots.
Got a bunch of them over that Green Man Gaming.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's where PC gaming is nice once you pass that entry point. Again, thank you, Hargeet, for passing that up for me, you know, that barrier of entry, that price point. But once you're in and you look at all the software and how much cheaper it is than it is on console,
no online
it
costs,
blows
right?
your mind. You sit there and you just think, wait a minute, I could buy 4 games on PC for the price of the one on console. What am I doing why was I on console this whole time?
Yeah. Once you start seeing just how crazy it is, especially if you can wait, these games get really cheap on PC.
Yeah, they do, and it doesn't take that long either. By the way,
no,
not,
some launch at a cheaper price on certain
catalog.
sites.
I'm like, dude, do you know how easy it is for me to get the same games on PC for like $2? I bought like the Arkham series for like $5.
Same, actually, I did too. I got that myself.
Like, yup, I can't resist $5.
There's so much good stuff.
I want that in my Steam library.
By the way, Hargeet, Ron G also says, no way Mindshare goes to Xbox, the low sales show. And then 9 Lives 210 says, thank you for the 2, by the way. He says, don't believe Phil's lies. I think he's being transparent now. I don't think he's lying anymore. Ron G also says Hargeet GTA 6 will be better on the PS5 Pro. That's why.
Awesome. Go jump off a cliff and buy the stupid PS5 Pro. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? I don't give a flying fuck.
Damn.
Is that clear enough?
Damn.
I don't give a flying fuck. Is that clear enough? Is it clear enough? Is it clear enough? All right.
Ron G also says, why did my... that was weird. Changed in the look in here. He also says, what will the 5090 do better than the 4090 in your opinion? I don't know, lots of stuff.
Every single thing.
Yeah, the 5090 is supposed to, clean your dishes and wash your car.
Path tracing better. Like, we will see. That is one of the things I have to I want them to sell me on it because it's very expensive. It's $2,500, I think, something like that. Ridiculous, but
ouch.
They'll have to sell me on it. Like, what is this thing gonna do? Because as it is, the 4090 is meeting my needs. Like you said, Fonz, yes, you might have to turn on DLSS or DLLA, right? But it works. I don't like it. It gives me, as long as you get to 60 plus, 70, 80 plus frames, it's good. Yeah, I'm good. I can do path tracing with above 60. If I turn on DLSS above 90. Again, tell me why. Why do I need to upgrade?
Why did
we good?
I don't know why my camera's changed. It's got you focused on the Discord. You guys know how to change that? I have no idea. I've never seen that.
It's still showing normal for me.
Nah, it's all out of whack.
It's weird. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like us three are on the bottom, and then Hargeet is on the top.
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
It's like in a film strip type thingy. What's going on there?
I don't know.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Is it a view change?
Yeah, I didn't change
Maybe
anything.
Click on the focus thing on the top.
You need to get the PS5 Pro equivalent of Discord.
There. Right. I think I fixed it. I think that was right.
Okay.
That's weird. All right. Sorry. Yeah, that was really weird. It seemed to do that, I think, after you started yelling.
He broke
scared the program. The Discord was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, the 5090, it could be useful, but again, they have to prove out why, right? Like you the 4080 Super, is that what you have, Umbra? That's still
I got a 4080 Super.
4080
by the way,
Super is great.
Shout out to my brother Hargeet, by the way, who helped with that. It was his Hargeet, it was Lucius Augustus, and my brother Kay Asante. It all helped, and they gave me the first initial builds, and then I took it to Hargeet, who upped it, to great levels as far as the build, and I just bought it, and he helped me out a lot with that. Thank you very much for that. But I was thinking about the 4090, man, and I was thinking, should I just get the 4090? But I think the 4080 Super is going to do
4090, as everybody says, it's overkill for gaming.
It is.
Yeah, you don't need that.
It's a lot more intended for workstation workloads. It does give you a performance bump, but not for the cost. It does not match the cost. But again, if you're an enthusiast and you don't care, like those who want to buy the PS5 Pro, go for
mind
it.
you,
I don't care. I wanted to spend the money. So
I've played some of the same demanding games Colt has at the same time, and he runs a 4080 Super, and he's having similar frame rates to mine. I think he may get a few frames less. Like it's not much.
Yeah.
But he's able to do path tracing and all that stuff.
Yep. Even 4070 can do it. Even 4060 can do it. You'd lose frames. You'd be down to 30 frames or something.
Uh-oh. It says YouTube is not responding.
Uh-oh.
What? Why? I hope we're still live. I think we're still live. I don't know. It says there's an error. YouTube is not responding on my OBS, but
you're still live on YouTube.
Yeah, hopefully we're still live. If you guys can hear me, just let me know in the chat. Dude, the 5090 is going to be very expensive anyway. Gaz is waiting for the 5090 before he jumps back into PC, he says, but he is definitely going back to PC. He wants those performance boosts for sure. He wants high frame rates like us. That's
I'm tempted, and I hate that I feel that way because I was like, initially when I get into this whole PC thing, I'm like, well, then you got to upgrade. Is always this thing, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it.
The problem is,
Now I'm like,
if you want to upgrade like to a 5090, you have to get a whole new motherboard, power supply, like
motherboard.
You might as well rebuild your whole PC. Like that's what it's gonna.
I feel like my power supply might do it though at 1,000, right? 1,000 watts should be able to handle the 5090, right?
We will see because it is going to draw a lot of power. It is substantially higher than the 4090.
But I heard even
4090 is higher than the 4080.
I heard though even the placement in your motherboard, you're going to have to change your motherboard. Like I don't know.
You might. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's see if it comes out. Let's see what it tells you, right? Because it may not be worth it, right? Yes, it might have a huge jump. But if you start seeing the performance changes and say, okay, you on your 4080 Super, you get 80 frames, and this generates 280 frames. But do you have a monitor capable of doing that? No. So what's the point, right? So you kind of like have to figure out what's the money, versus performance.
Albert G said, so basically Phil Spencer's making y'all buy PCs now. No. I'll tell you what. It's this whole generation. It's the PS5 and Xbox, everything that's come out this generation that's made me move to PC.
Get rid of my PlayStation. I bought my PC to get rid of PlayStation.
One more word for you, Albert G, and it's out of there.
Like honestly, this whole generation. I said this on Twitter. This whole generation has been a scam when it comes to the consoles. It's all been one big scam, in my opinion. I mentioned that on the show the other day that you thought that, by the way, because I saw that tweet. Look, like what do you feel like the performance part that does it for you? I just think that what they promised at the beginning with the performance of these consoles, it didn't meet that. It never met that goal. And I even talked to Jason Ronald a bit behind the scenes about it, and maybe I shouldn't. But I was talking to Jason. I could say this though, at least. And, I was talking to him about it, and a lot of what he had to say was basically that, the tech that has moved forward this generation has been kind of fast. And a lot of what is being pushed out there in gaming is even heavy on the biggest and baddest GPUs out there on PC. So, and he's not wrong, because I've seen that with the 4090 myself. But again, when you put stuff out there, like, this generation 60 is going to be the standard, and we're going to look towards 120 frames, and it didn't materialize. That's when I'm like, really?
Well, it did for the most part. Like most games
some
are.
games,
So standard,
but the thing is
every now and then,
not even the games. Like most of the games aren't even a lock 60. And if you don't have a VRR TV, you get a ton of freaking screen tearing in these games. PlayStation 5, oh my God, I feel sorry for you PlayStation guys when it comes to your VRR, because it stinks, bro. And when you hit below that 48 frames and you get that screen tear, bro, I couldn't take it. I was trying to play, what was it, the Jedi Survivor? That game screen tears like a mother trucker on that freaking PS5. Yeah. I did not care for that at all. That's one of the worst things to see in a game is screen tearing. I can't stand it. But yeah, I just, I wanted better for myself. It had nothing to do with, what is Phil or whoever at these companies, what are they doing to me that's so wrong? No, I just wanted better.
I guess I can understand that. Somebody mentioned something about if by that logic, he says, then what about PC exclusives and such? Well, we don't get PC gaming typically to go for any PC exclusive. I think the argument is self-defeated.
There are some exclusives on PC, right? But
there are some.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. There's Dating Fantasy 4 and all these weird games, genital jousting.
Warcraft, for instance.
But there's a lot of games that are just like silly or stupid or very adult, and I'm just like, why? Why do these exist?
But there's a whole bunch of other ones too, right? So that's fine.
Lots of RTSs and stuff like that are mainly on PC. Yep. But
there's some adventure
Sims and stuff like that, VR stuff. A lot of that doesn't really appeal to me, I would say. But like, I feel the reason why I feel like this gen may not have been a wash, at least, is because we still got a lot of great games. The problem is that a lot of them were extended to last gen initially.
But that's the problem. I think that's the biggest scam, is the fact that a lot of these games might as well be PS4 and Xbox One games. They look like they can be played on those other platforms. Sure, you'd have to turn some stuff down, but you could play all these games. Nothing has really changed to the point where it's like, oh my God, it's a new generation. I'm telling you, like you brought up earlier, I say it all the time, when the Xbox One X hit, that's where I saw the biggest leap in gaming in years. I was like, holy crap, that was amazing. And that killed it for me this gen. It killed it for me because I already saw 4K.
Next gen, when it comes out, you're gonna have the same problem, right? Because when the next gen comes out, right, the series consoles are gonna be good for a while. The Xbox One and PS4 are probably still.
I'm hoping that's not true. I hope we see a bigger leap, and at least that's what
I hope so too.
Isn't that what Sarah Bond told us? We're going to see the biggest leap in gaming. Thought we were supposed to see that
technological leap.
Yeah,
technical leap, she says, right?
Yeah, technological leap. But look, a lot of that is probably going to be AI processing. It's probably not going to be.
Oh, dude, have you seen some of the AI? Okay, so guys, I wish I could remember what this video was. There is a developer out there who is talking and showing new AI techniques in video games, and the stuff he is putting up on screen is pretty freaking awesome. And like, it changes characters in games and stuff to where it looks more realistic. And AI is going to do so much in the future of gaming. I think AI is really, and I'm not talking about these up-res things or whatever. I'm talking about actual like meshes over faces that actually look like real freaking people and stuff. There is things they're doing in the AI right now that are a huge technical leap over what we've got going on right now.
So with that one, then they could just scale it back, right? If you don't have the hardware capability, your version of the game would just scale back and not have that capability, but it would still work. Yeah, this is just kind of the thing. Unfortunately, I don't know how that's going to work. People have, by and large, they haven't upgraded. And look, a lot of people don't care about all the graphics and all that stuff. They just don't. They just
I'm glad you brought that up, Hargeet, because I wanted to point this out. Because a lot of people, especially, PlayStation guys, are under the misconception that all the people that are going to upgrade that haven't upgraded yet to a PS5 are going to upgrade to the Pro. And that's simply not the truth. They are going to upgrade. They are going to upgrade to the PS5 Slim. Why? Because of that point of entry is only $449, and what you're getting for that price is damn near almost as good as what you're getting for the Pro, at least in terms of what we see right now. Most people aren't going to jump to a $700 price point going into the next gen. Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I've put out polls. I've seen so many other people put out polls on Twitter trying to gauge the community. Would you spend $700 on next gen consoles? And most people say no. Most people say no. I'm tapped out. Especially when it hits that $600 price point. They're like, that's it. I'm done. So I don't know what they're going to do in next generation because the consoles are definitely going to be more expensive. They've already hit that price point. I can't see them backing off $700. I don't know.
I feel like the price point might be in the 800 to 1,000 range. I know Phil mentioned that he won't try to do the 1,000. I feel like if they really want to make a substantial jump, that I think all of us would agree, we want them to make that jump. If they're going to do that, it's going to have to be more than 700. It's going to have to be in 800 to 1,000 range.
Yeah. By the way, Game Seeker with $5, he says, "Hey, Hargeet and Fonz, do you think Black Myth for Xbox will get a release date at the Game Awards?"
Possibly.
I don't know, but I think it's soon because I thought we heard recently about Game Science saying that the game,
the rating, right?
Yeah, the ESRB rating hit for Xbox, so it's soon. It's right around the corner, so that could be a possibility. They could shadow drop it like in December. Could happen. If that's what you're waiting for. It's a good game. It's solid. I think for Game Science's first like AAA outing, I think it's a really solid title. I don't think it's as amazing as some people might hold it up to be, but I think it's a good game. It's quality.
I loved it, but I had it initially as my game of the year because I love the combat so much. Metaphor Refantasio. Metaphor Refantasio took me out of it.
Yep. I did not. So I played through the demo, the prologue of Refantasio, and I enjoyed it. But that $70 price point's a little steep for me.
Yeah,
So I said,
I
I'm
can
going to wait.
understand that.
I'm going to wait.
It's also a game. It's also one of the games like going to your point where it could have easily happened on an Xbox One and PS4.
Dude,
Just to
that
throw
thing
it
could
out
have
there.
happened on a PS3. All right. So, I mean, that thing doesn't look
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
at all. It looks,
I
that
agree.
looks Switch quality right there.
Maybe
Matter of fact,
that's why
why
they got it
isn't
like
it
that.
on the Switch?
That's a good question, actually. Maybe it'll be on the Switch 2 or whatever they call it. What I call
Probably.
it. Yeah, I actually agree.
But I'll
with that.
wait. When that thing gets
Yeah.
about $50, I'm going to jump on it because it was a good game from what I played of it. That prologue alone was 6 hours for me.
Yeah. It
6
gives you
hours.
plenty of time. Gives you plenty of time. I would say like that really took me out, and I knew it was going to be good because I did a preview right up for it and everything. I loved it a lot. The
Nice.
prologue, and I even did a round table discussion for it after we beat it, and that, me and some fellas, Red Wolf, all of us, we talked about it. Well, not Red Wolf, Assassin, I'm sorry. But Red Wolf did mention it after the fact. But it was really good, and that really took me out of Black Myth. Black Myth's issue was the story wasn't as succinct or nicely told, I think, as compared to a lot of other games. But the visuals and the combat, spectacular.
I thought that was good. For me, it was the invisible walls that really pissed me off in that game. And honestly, performance on PC, especially towards the end, the performance got really bad. The 5th and 6th chapter were awful.
I didn't, I remember you was posting about that. Luckily, I didn't have any of those issues.
Maybe it was
a patch
a memory leak. I wonder if it was a memory leak, to be honest.
Or a patch. Maybe a patch was put in at that point, but I didn't have. Luckily, I missed out on those issues.
But also the confusing freaking 6th chapter. Oh, it was so confusing. I had no idea what I was doing, where to go. And you know how that guy would jump and fly away, and you had to follow him somewhere, and you're like, where'd you go? I don't even, bro. It's crazy. But when you start it though, you think, oh man, this is badass. This is so cool. But it's so jarring going from a linear path to this gigantic open area, and you're like, okay, but what do I do? Where do I go?
That was pretty terrible. That the way they handled that part, I will agree. It definitely felt like, okay, where am I at? Like, what's going on here? Felt very aimless. So I did have to look up where to go to get everything I needed.
Thank you, because I had to do the same thing. I had no idea, and I would never have figured out in a million years to get up on that one thing. And bro, I wouldn't have never figured that out if I didn't look it up.
Yeah,
and that's poor game design.
I agree.
That's where I pointed out, and I said, hey, that game has poor game design. And people are like, where? It's amazing. And I'm like, what chapter are you in? They're like, 2. I'm like, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
overall, it was solid, but that part in particular, I agree with you.
Oh, still, I still think it's a phenomenal game for being their first AAA game and everything. I think it's great, like in that regard. And I look forward to what they do next because of it, for sure.
Me too. Me too. First game like this, I can only imagine where it can go.
All right. Well, with that said, I think we're going to be done. We're going to be getting out of here now. It was a very fun show. I'm glad you jumped on today, though, bro. But you need to, before we get out of here and you tell everybody where they can find you, you need to let me know when are you going to get on camera? When are you finally going to do that? Because you need to, bro. Like,
yeah. I don't know, man. I have so much more things I have to get done, and I'm very particular because I want to have my space looking real pristine and nice before I do it. I know I could do like the green screen thing, like Hargeet does it, but
or you can just throw an LED light on your wall like I do and just go with it, bro. That you don't even need anything special.
Yeah. It's just a few things.
You sound like Rand, bro. Rand says the same thing. I don't like my walls. Shut up, Rand. Get your ass on camera. Shout out to Rand.
I will. Shout out to my brother Rand. But I was thinking, man. I saw
a million.
I was gonna say, what the hell did he creep in here? I didn't know how to. He scared me with them. I'm like, what the hell? How did he get in here?
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, when I saw D jump in, I was like, now I know it's a bit of RDX love. I'm like, but why is my brother in here with no cam, but I'm not on here? So that's why I had to jump in today. I threw it out in the chat just to see if I can. I threw a little feeler out there.
I still allow people to come in with no cam, but I just, I prefer to see your face while we talk and stuff. It's a nice thing. Ron G2665, thank you for the 2. He says The Last of Us 2 looks crazy on the Pro. Next time or next game will melt faces. If you're talking about like The Last of Us 3, yeah, of course. I don't put anything past Naughty Dog, and they're up there with the best of doing some crazy good animations and stuff. They're up there with Rockstar and all the best. But
what will it take to make that happen, though? That's going to be an interesting question, right?
I know. I just questioned the story for The Last of Us 3 because I hated the story for Last of Us 2, but
that's true.
It's whatever.
But as far as like the graphics,
that story,
that means they would have to bump the engine up, right? And that's work they have to go do because I'm pretty sure it's their own engine.
It is.
And this is it's a major headache. Just like we found out with Halo, right? Is yes, you can upgrade your engine, but man, is it a pain in the neck to do that? And
it's expensive
but whatever.
too. And expensive, right? Yeah. Imagine had they just gone with Unreal all along. Like that'll save so many millions for them.
But then you would lose some of that charm of having your own engine, especially like because you can distinguish. Like it seems like every Unreal game now, you can kind of tell certain things are Unreal and certain things are, are from other engines or whatever. Like this, what is it? The Snowdrop engine that they use in Veilguard. It's really good. Really good engine.
Yeah.
Freaking environments look crazy good. Now, I don't really like the characters and how they look, but you could do so much with that engine and it performs so good on PC. Holy crap, does that. Even on console, it performed well, I heard. So
and that's EA, right? So they manage that engine. But this is just one of the headaches you run into. Like it's like you have to have a team that can work those upgrades, right? And when you use like an Unreal, right, they're handling all that crap for you as far as the upgrade. The downside is like some of these other engines are actually very well tuned. Unreal needs to work on that part of it. They've got a little bit of work to do there. But either way,
it was some people talking about it. It's like I forgot the details on it, but they were saying that if you have a really capable team, that's typically those who really do a good job with Unreal Engine. Coalition in particular.
Oh,
right?
Coalition.
The thing for Xbox
I cannot wait to see Gears E-Day.
E-Day.
I can't.
Oh man, you know it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be special. It's going to be special, bro. That game's going to be.
Would you think that might be next gen too, or you think it might be at the tail end of this gen?
I think that'll be it's this. I think it'll be their swan song of this gen. I think that'll be the last.
I could see that.
Could be.
And I think they'll have a next gen patch too.
Either way, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be in that in between zone where they'll make it look even better on next gen hardware, and I'm going to see it on PC, so I'm going to get the best of the best anyway. So it's all good.
There you go.
Yes,
I can't wait for that game.
There you go.
That's all I think about when I play other games like Space Marine 2 and stuff. I'm like, man, all I keep thinking about is playing a good game like freaking Gears. Yeah.
If you want to get the AI capabilities, you don't have that today on your PC. So the console AI might have that capability. So AI requires an AI chip in your PC, right? So newer computers are going to have that.
I see what you're saying. If they have their own proprietary AI chip, like,
well, the console is going to have it. So Microsoft is all in on AI, right? And it's not proprietary. It's just that you would have to have an AI chip in your PC, and newer ones will have it, but yours doesn't. Mine does not either. But we don't have an AI chip. So then the console that comes out, if it does have AI chip in it,
and that is exactly why I am a fan of the hobby, and I would buy new hardware because of stuff like that. It makes total sense. Like you want I'm intrigued by that type of tech.
Now the tensor cores in our GPUs can be utilized for it. I don't know if the performance is there. Hopefully it is, right?
Yeah.
Just something to think about, right? There is a potential where we take advantage of a capability that we don't have on our PC. We might have to actually go get something new just to have that capability. But the console may have it.
But if that's the case, that's why somebody like me who said, that I would buy a console, that's why, they've got special tech
Right.
in there that may not be there, may not be in my current rig, you know? It just
Exactly.
stuff happens
Exactly.
like that. And, you know, because I don't plan on upgrading mine for years. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to play on this rig for a long time before it gets completely outdated.
Yeah, and hopefully they can just take advantage of the tensor cores in the 4090, right? And
Yeah,
use
but
that for
yeah, but no,
yeah.
I think it's cool to have this new tech in future consoles and stuff. I think it's really cool. I'm not against
What are you doing?
consoles. That's what some people think. They think that because I primarily play on PC now, oh no, you hate consoles now. No, I just didn't like the performance I was getting in them now. Like, for sure, if new consoles come out and they're better and they've got proprietary AI chips and stuff that are just making these games even better, of course I'm going to pick it up. Of course. I don't have any problem with that. All right.
Cool.
Well, Umbra, thank you for joining us today. Let everybody know where they can find you and what kind of podcasts you do out there and what you're playing.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. You know, I had to make that appeal in the audience. You know what I'm saying? A brother got in here, finally got on GTL. Yeah, I'm feeling elite right now.
Elite. I assure you we are not elite.
Oh, don't underestimate yourselves. Listen, I appreciate it, brother, for having me come through. Both of you, thank you. Shout out to the chat. As far as where you guys can find me, Twitter or now Blue Sky, Infinite Umbra. Just look up Infinite Umbra. You know what, Herky? Why don't you get on Blue Sky? It's less toxic. Herky is like,
care.
never. But Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite, you'll find me either way. Tuesdays, Xbox Factor with Boom and Jamie Moran. Typically, that is at 12 Eastern. Thursday, my podcast with Daniel J. McGee, The Fix, 8 o'clock Eastern. And 7 Eastern, I have to make sure to correct that, for the Infinite podcast on Fridays. So, yeah. And thank you guys again.
Thank you. Hargeet, let people know where they can find you, where they can find your book, where they can find your YouTube channel, and have you made a video lately?
I have not. I probably should make something. But my channel is Hargy21 if you want to subscribe on YouTube. And I'm not on social media, thank God. And if you want to check out my sci-fi novel, Emergence, you can go to shop.shiny.us. You can pick up merch like the shirt I have on. There's mugs and all sorts of fun things. And also, if you want to get a signed copy, go for it. And then I will be on with Web Daves tomorrow at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Web Daves channel. Check that out. And then it'll be back to Boom on Wednesday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on Double Barrel Gaming. Used to be we were on at 10 p.m. or 7 for you on Wednesdays, but now we are here today, Saturday, 6 p.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific. So, yeah.
Nice. And with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming out today to the live show, everybody listening after. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, game on.